AI is everywhere, right? But what about our wallets? That's what we're diving into today. We're going to look at how AI is turning into this financial co-pilot for pretty much everything, from your daily coffee habit to your big investment goals. So let's get into it. You ever get that feeling, that little pit in your stomach when you're about to check your bank account? Yeah, if you do, you are definitely not alone. For so many of us, managing money it's a huge source of stress. It feels like this constant uphill battle just to keep your head above water. And hey, this isn't just a vibe. The numbers are pretty stark. Get this, over 60% of Americans couldn't cover a surprise $1,000 expense. I mean, think about that. That one stat just lays bare how widespread this struggle for financial stability really is and how much we could use some better tools. All right, so what's really going on here? Well, for a long, long time, we've been using the same old methods to manage our money. But let's be real, those old school ways, they're just not cutting it anymore. I mean, think about it. Are you really going to manually punch every single coffee purchase into a spreadsheet? Or at the end of the month, try to piece together where all that cash went? It's just so tedious. It's super easy to mess up. And here's the biggest problem. It almost never tells you why you're overspending. It doesn't give you any real insight. It's just not the kind of deep, personalized guidance we actually need. And that's where AI comes into the picture. It's promising a totally different approach, one that's smarter, more automated, and way more insightful. Let's break down what that actually means. Okay, so when we say AI in finance, what are we even talking about? Look, this isn't some sci-fi movie where robots are taking over your bank. Nah, it's much simpler. It's about using smart algorithms to crunch your financial data, automate all those boring tasks, and give you advice that's actually tailored to you and your habits, not just some generic one-size-fits-all rule. But the real magic isn't just one of these things. It's how they all work together. Just imagine it. You get real-time feedback on your spending. Your bills just get paid automatically, so you're never late again. And the system can even predict what big expenses are coming up next month. It's a total shift, right? You go from constantly reacting to your money problems to actually getting ahead of them.
Okay, let's get practical. The first place most of us will see this stuff in action, everyday budgeting. This is where AI can make a huge difference, like right away.
And you know what? Getting set up is way easier than you might think. It's basically 3 steps. First, you securely connect your accounts, your bank, your credit cards, all that. Second, you get to customize it. You teach the AI how you categorize your spending. And third, you tell it your goals. What are you saving for? A trip? Trying to knock out some debt? You put it all in there. So if you're looking into one of these apps, here are the features you should really care about. Automatic categorization, total game changer. Saves you so much time. You also want an app that gives you personalized insights, stuff that actually helps you change your behavior, not just pretty charts to look at. And look, this is the big one. Security has to be rock solid, non-negotiable. Make sure it's got things like encryption and 2-factor authentication. You're dealing with your most sensitive data here. All right, so budgeting is one thing, but what about the other side of the coin, actually growing your money? Now we're going to scale up and jump into the way more complex world of investing. This is where AI really flexes its muscles as a crazy powerful analysis engine. Now, to really get what AI does here, you gotta know the 2 classic ways people analyze stocks. First, you've got fundamental analysis. Think of this like being a detective. You're digging into a company's financial health, its revenue, its management, all to figure out if it's a good long-term bet. Then there's technical analysis. This is more like being a weather forecaster, but for the stock market. You're looking at price charts and trading volumes, trying to predict which way things will move in the short term. Okay, so here's where AI just completely changes the game. It doesn't throw those 2 methods out the window. Nope, it supercharges them. And AI can tear through thousands of financial reports in a blink of an eye for fundamental analysis. It can process millions of data points for technical analysis. But here's the really wild part. It can also analyze what we call unstructured data, things like the sentiment of news articles or what people are saying on social media. It's literally trying to read the room of the entire market. And you can see it's being used everywhere. For a day trader, it's all about that lightning speed, spotting tiny patterns humans would miss. For a long-term investor, it's about fine-tuning their portfolio and keeping risk in check. And that sentiment analysis we just talked about, that's huge. It can sniff out a shift in the market from online chatter way before it ever hits the mainstream news. So you're probably wondering, how on earth does it actually make these predictions? Well, under the hood, it's using these really advanced models, things with names like LSTMs, that are built to analyze data over time. The best way to think about it is it doesn't just see a stock's price today, it sees its entire life story. It can look at months, even years of data, and find these really deep, hidden patterns that honestly no human could ever spot.
Okay, but let's pump the brakes a little. It's not all rainbows and automatic money-making machines. Of course not. There are some really important risks and, let's call it, the fine print that we absolutely have to talk about.
And this really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Can you really trust an algorithm with your money? I mean, when you let a machine make these calls, what happens when it goes wrong? Who's on the hook? There are four really big hurdles to think about here. First, there's bias. An AI is only as good as the data it's trained on. If that data has human biases baked in, guess what? The AI's advice will be biased too. Second, transparency. You hear about the black box problem? It means sometimes we literally don't know why an AI made a certain call, which leads right into number 3, accountability. If you get bad advice and lose money, who's to blame? The app? The developer? You? And finally, the big one, privacy. To make any of this work, you have to give it access to all your sensitive financial info. And this quote right here just nails it. No tool, no matter how smart, can give you 100% accurate predictions. Why? Because the stock market isn't just numbers. It's driven by messy, unpredictable stuff like global events and human emotions. An algorithm can't predict a pandemic or a sudden political crisis. So yeah, risk is always going to be part of the game.
Okay, so we've seen the incredible upside, but we've also looked at some pretty serious risks. Where does that leave us? What's the bottom line here? Is this thing really your financial co-pilot?
The best way to frame this is to think of AI as your co-pilot, not the autopilot. Let it do the heavy lifting. Let it run the complex numbers, monitor all the data, automate the boring stuff. That leaves you free to be the actual pilot, to focus on the big picture, on strategy. Because when it comes down to it, your goals, your values, your gut feeling, you still got to be the one in the driver's seat. And that leaves us with one last thing to chew on. As these AI tools get smarter and smarter, are they on their way to becoming our new financial advisors? Or will they always just be a really, really smart tool in our toolbox? The answer to that question is probably going to define how all of us manage our money for years to come.